All right, we're live. Hey guys, I meant to do this stream last week, but the holidays typically just kind of bum me out, and I'm not gonna be able to say that much else. I'm not a fan of the holidays. I know winter and I just don't get along well. I know that sounds weird. Bruce, you were born in January. Yes, I was. Had to have some serious reflection over the past couple weeks and everything that's gone on. I can't complain. Sorry that for stepping over uh, the stream of Biggest Geekus, but I just want to do a short, maybe 20-minute video, real quick, and wanted to just express to everybody how grateful I am for what you've done for me in 2022. And here's looking to 2023. Really got to say thank you for everybody that helped turn my channel into more of a spectator sport than what it was the year before. That was great. I didn't expect to hit 1,000 subscribers. And if you're a real person that did subscribe and you've got some input in, and I've been able to converse back with you and we've had conversations, just understand that I really appreciate what you've been over the last year. And if you've been a long time friend or subscriber, I really can't say how grateful I am for you as well. Now, January is just one of those weird months because where I'm at, we really don't get a lot of snow, and I like it like that. I'm not a winter person anymore. I used to enjoy winter until I I realized, oh wait, that ice and snow gets on the roads. There's no income, and I didn't get that. I it took me a while to understand capitalism. Uh, hey, Aaron Dragon, how you doing, sir? And I just got to say that over the past year, I've been trying to take all the lessons I can, even if it means I have to learn things the hard way. Yeah, for my mom and dad, I really appreciate those two for being here with me, even though they don't watch 99% of the stuff I do on this, which is fine. Uh, for my friends that I see on a regular basis that I don't work with, um, really the gaming stream guys, the people for table breakers, the people that and gatekeepers, my Illinois people, thank you so much. For my affiliates, the people that I talk to on a regular basis, or I'm in their chats all the time. T-shirt historian, biggest geekus, who's streaming right now. And I didn't mean to step over their last part of their stream, but I wanted to get this out there and get this swimming because I got some things to take care of tonight. I got to paint and I got to write on a book. For all of you people that watch what content I put out, I'd like to personally shake your hand or give you a bro hug or whatever it is, bro fist, you know, touch knuckles, whatever, not like do assaults on each other, but the brotherly thing. For those people that I angered for whatever little success I might have had that somebody else didn't get, uh, you'll have to be bigger. They'll have to be better. And I've got a lot of people that are in my corner on things. A friend of mine, Shadow and Son, had a really good year last year, and him and his son are doing fantastic with their channel. Looks like my friend Garrett with Baron G Rock. He's making a huge channel right now. He doesn't give enough love, but he's been sick lately. Give him time. I think he'll start getting some real content out there, even if his content is just like what I do, game streams or playing video games. Aaron Dragon, no, I appreciate you being here, and I like the fact we bounce ideas off each other. Same with Bo Paints Minis, although I don't know you well enough yet, sir. We're going to be doing more painting. I can guarantee you that. Apollo Patriot, will Tom Brady be involved? Probably not. He's got to recoup a loss off of a certain Bernie Madoff crypto guy. The Fat Gamer, good to see you, sir. Like having him around. I'd like to have him in my panels more. I like to I need an eighth day a week just to catch up on the streams I want to watch, get the information I need. And I think we're all facing that. We're all feeling that right now. 2023 for me, I'm going to lay it out here. This is going to be the book. This is going to be the year where I finish a book. I haven't finished a book in over, it'll be 10 years. Because in 2012, I finished Elijah's story, and I haven't really written on one. Sporadically, I finished the third in that series, but I never edited it. I took too many things seriously, and I didn't enjoy life. And whenever you're enjoying life, you can laugh at some criticism. If you're not enjoying life, any criticism feels like 1,000 cuts. And that was kind of one of the problems I had with the oil field. I was feeling too big for myself, and I don't have to deal with this. No, Bruce, you got to deal with this. And that's the lessons that have been taught to me over the past 10 years. Since 2019, when I got out of the petroleum and oil and gas industry, and I really lucked into plumbing and septic in 2020. I know that sounds weird for some people, but I love it. I'll just give you an idea of what happened today. When I went to the DMV, we call it the Department of Public Safety here in San Antonio. And when I was talking to the guy at the table, because the lady in the line has already been rather dismissive of me, and she told me that I need to make an appointment. And I said, I tried. My computer said your website's not safe. I've got a couple sensitive spots on my computer where, like, if it just detects some small things, like my credit card just buzzed me. Like, did you really mean to buy that from Big Geek Emporium? I did. And there we go for a shout out for Big Geek Emporium. I love those guys. Some things have got on a high sensitivity, and my PC, I don't have a spare one that I really want to use. I want to keep with this one because it's mostly good. It's not new. It's mostly good. That's the thing. It's not new. So, but I don't want to lose it. I don't have a spare one sitting in the closet with a 3060 NVIDIA GTX video card and 7.1 surround sound, the VR headset. I don't have that. So I need to preserve the things I got. And my PC is like, no, you can't make an appointment here because we're taking you off this website and flinging you to the safe zone because you don't need to be here. So, hey, Green Apple. I was really worried. And I get to the DMV. I'm like, my license expires today. I've been trying to get in touch with you via email. All you say is use the website. The website's bad for my computer. I have to talk to you today about it. I came here early because that's what you said last night. In 5 minutes, till 6 before you closed. Hey, Drew, how you doing, sir? Yeah, I'm going to have a much better year than Tom Brady. Tom Brady lost millions. Poor guy. I mean, I hope he weathers it well. There's lessons you learn when you get out of a certain industry and you were used to making $3,000 to $4,000 take home after all the taxes and fees that you're assessed every 2 weeks. And then you go to like $1,000 take home a week. There's lessons that you get to learn. Hey, Mr. Max Boyven. You really get to learn how to budget. Then you really learn as to how to mitigate your expenses and stop spending like hundreds of dollars at places that you don't need to. Long time no see, Mr. Max Boyven. Yes, it's been a whopping, a very long eternity of 20 minutes. So I get to the DMV and I explain to the gentleman that's at the desk that's going to help me. I didn't realize how much he would help me because his first reaction to me is, you may want to go to the other departments of public safety around town. There's about 7 of them. And see if they have an open slot for you. Can we just do that from here since you're all connected on the same? He's like, we can't. I'm like, so I was like, dear Lord in heaven, I gotta have a miracle at this point. And he's like, looking at my license, he says, hold on. So it goes to kiosk. And he punches in things. He comes back about 3 minutes later. I've told him already, I can't leave because you have my license. Last day, it's good. And so he says, go take care of your business and back. Here's the number you need. So I go in, and the lady, she hears me, and she listens to what I have to say, and she's like, I need these 7 forms filled out. And I froze. I was like, wow. No, it's not. I actually just ordered my copy of the book. Hey, lady, how you doing? So we get things taken care of, and I listen to her as I'm filling out forms, and I'm furiously going through things. And I said, is there anything that's duplicatable that we can just scan, copy, or get off the web? Sure. Long story short, I spent 2 hours at a government facility. Granted, it's in Texas, which is supposed to be not so government intrusive. And they were telling me at first I'd have to wait till the 7th of February to get an appointment. And I didn't want to do that. I don't think anybody wants to do that. I think that's far from what anybody wants to do. Emergency. So I get done, and my CDL is not broken. I got a new version. But it was kind of scary at first because when I was going through the renewal process, I should not be experiencing this much grief. And I'm experiencing a lot of grief. So finally got that taken care of. Went to work at 9:00. My boss was happy. I brought him tacos because it's Tuesday. That's just the rules, right? It's Taco Tuesday. We got that taken care of. Had some really good customers. And on the way home, I had a nice little epiphany because the last customer I had was a pastor. And I got some things in play finally. And I've got to say that probably not to be painting as much. I'll be still trying to get out 1 character a day off the desk. Yeah, Bo Paintsman, he says, thank goodness for the Real ID Act. Oh my God. Wizards of the Coast has basically forced anybody that wants to write an RPG, and they said if you use anything that we can trace back to what we've done before, you just need to sign up with this version, because eventually we're going to own it anyway. And anything you sign up under this version, we're just going to copy and paste and use it in our products if it's superior to what we've written before. So I have already started working on a basic version of a game that I was doing with 5 classes, 6 races, just like the 3.0. You're lucky. You're really lucky. Real ID is not good. Finally get everything, and I'm 2 classes away from finishing basically like a 68 or 70 page book without art, because I've got a lot of crunch in there. That's just it. I'm not going to write some basic book. I'm going to have to go through it again and excise all the words that WotC might say this traces back to us. I'm going to have to do that, and that's fair. That's what I want to do. I don't want to have to like defend my intellectual property like I'd have to defend my actual property. I view any lawyers from Wizards of the Coast like I view a IRS agent. You don't send a thief to my property. That's just it. And I think most Americans are like that. I think most of us are thinking, oh yeah, I wish a motherfucker would. And I know that's just how a lot of people are. Like when you start telling people like, hey, the things that you work for, the things you've done, the things that you've been at for a while and putting your nose to the grindstone, the lessons you've been taking, well, that money you made actually belongs to us. When you have people saying that, it's time to figure it out. Hey, Arizona's a nice state. It's a little too dry for me. Granted, San Antonio is way too humid, but I'll take our humidity because in drier environments, I don't I dry out faster. I was in Utah for a while, and that was whew, I consider myself a walking zombie, so I can pick That's funny. But I had to have a stream today. Yes, yes. The Waco area is nice. The Waco area is actually like it's it's just north of of Austin's metro, and you're just south of the Dallas Fort Worth metro. The reason you would move to Waco or outside of Waco is because you have a lot of destinations on your plate. Uh, the reason you would want to move to Waco is that one, it's gorgeous there. Two, if you go just east and you head towards like Tyler, Texas, or south of that, that's a nice area. There's a lot of things to do there. There's enough land that's still available that's not super expensive. Waco, it's not that expensive. Up towards Dallas, Burleson, Fort Worth, it's really expensive. Down by Austin, oh God, give a kidney and your firstborn. But you have a lot of options there, and if you want to travel, you can go you can go and do things. You can go and like head the hill country is like an hour and a half to 2 hours away. What I consider hill country, which is like Fredericksburg, Brady, uh, Eve, little towns, really nice towns like that. But Waco's great. I like San Antonio quite a bit. I like just east of San Antonio a lot more. That's probably where I'm going to settle over by like Seguin or somewhere in the north of Seguin or just northeast of Seguin, maybe east of Seguin towards Lavernia. I don't know. I've got to get things squared away, and if the rent price is correct, is what they put on my flyer on the door, then I'll be able to actually afford something to where I can have a savings this year. That'd be nice. Weird Guy says a lot of us gamers daydream of writing a game. Mine's up being a lot of different features of other games I want mashed together. Exactly. That's what I want. Because I do like 6 stats: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. We can find other synonyms to replace those 6, but it would still be the 6 that we would have. I would want to have the Hackmaster 5e speed factor and initiative for combat. I want a rule cyclopedia from the basic D&D days, kind of ish brought in to where you could do that sort of mastery as you get good and level up. And I want a game that has a full 36 levels. And I know that some of you just went, what? I want a 36th level top for the game that I want to play, that I want to design. They did it in basic. Why can't we do it now? It hasn't been 20 levels in a game since basic. We could go back to that, and I'm going to go for that way. D&D is still the Denny's of RPGs. Actually, you're kind of right. Yeah, I consider it more the McDonald's of RPGs, because there are some times where you eat McDonald's and you're like, wow, that was really good. And then there's all the other times, the majority of times that I've played a by book adventure or by book by the campaign setting, the numbers, the crappy crap, like some lame Forgotten Realms or some uninspiring Greyhawk, and it just like you have a knot in your stomach after the 5th adventure. You're like, this doesn't really feel good. This is like I'm going to have a painful GI here. A gastrointestinal movement's brewing, and I'm going to make an unhealthy shade of brown on that porcelain I have. Ooh. I consider McDonald's to be equal to D&D. Mainly, it's the biggest food name out there for restaurants. McDonald's has the most real estate out of all the restaurants, out of probably most businesses. It's McDonald's. Mr. Max Boyven, reactionary principal gaming with Mr. Max Boyven says, in Waco, be careful of the ATF. Those guys were not really that local. I think they were more from like Austin or out of state. Mr. CCDV says, my house is still snowed in. I know everybody thinks Arizona's all desert. They're wrong. I've been in Flagstaff a lot, and Flagstaff is gorgeous, but I'm going to say that it gets weather, a lot of different weather. Phoenix, it gets hot. Lady says, cool, thanks. I'll have to add it to my list of places to research. My relocation zones are limited due to work. Flady, get in touch with me on that. I might be able to help you on other spots. Do not add Houston to your list. Waco is my one area my roommate's considering to want to move to. Waco's great. If you move towards like Waco area, you've got a lot of things you can do there. And there's things you can do within 6 hours that are just a great weekend away. Oh, don't give Disney any ideas. Next thing you know, they'll buy Hasbro and big squeaky mice will be the new race. Okay. With the 1.1 coming out, which is a gold mine for creators on the web. God bless Wizards of the Coast for giving us the talk of the town. Instead of us talking about Dungeon 23 and what room we designed today for the Dungeon 23, instead we're talking about Wizards. They've sucked all the air has came right out of that D23 room, and now we're talking about the people who made the game. According to them, they didn't make shit. Wizards of the Coast literally Disneyed this. And when I say they Disneyed this, Disney doesn't create. Disney only acquires and republishes. Oh, you like Star Wars? We're going to buy Star Wars and sell you Star Wars again. It's not the Star Wars you know, it's a mystery box. And that was how the 2015 garbage movie was sold to us. And I fell asleep in the middle of a lightsaber duel. In 1999, when there were lightsabers were out in the Star Wars film, I couldn't keep my eyes off the screen. The screen was just amazing because you had Darth, not Darth Plagueis, really. You had Reg Park and you had Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan going at it. The choreography from episode 1 is still probably my top fight scenes. Weird Guy says, I'm no fan of D&D. Some OSR stuff is as close as I want to get. Dungeons and Delvers Dice Pool, Shadow of the Demon Lord, and an unknown one called Dragon Warriors. I might have to look at that. I don't think we have anything to worry about regarding NOTC. Probably not. Bo, mine is going to be basically kind of like what we had with 3.0, where the skills became really part of it, and then 3.0 got improved by Pathfinder. I really like what Pathfinder did with the rules for the skills and the Pathfinder Unchained. So I'd be adding that in or finding some variant language to put something like that skill unlocks in and have a class-based system that would have limited classes, maybe 12 total. And I think that would be fantastic because skills would be like the skill unlocks from Pathfinder Unchained. The weapons would be like any other polyhedral die system game you have. A dagger does a D4. Start from there. You'd have weapon mastery rules you'd have like 5 or 6 levels of mastery, which I think you need to have that for a game just to value the martials. The martial characters, I want them to be like glommed onto. And then you have to have like a magic system that works. Now, with an initiative system like what Hackmaster 5th Edition does, a beginning character would be able to get a stab in with a dagger every 5 seconds. The beginning wizard might be able to cast magic missile at the same speed. But here's where the fun begins. As you get better at what you do, as you level up, your speed factors do drop. Now, it will still take you seconds to do something, but it's all within the span of those seconds. And so Tommy might be swinging his great sword, and it'll take him 12 seconds to hit this ogre. The ogre's swinging a great club. It'll take him 17 seconds to get that thing all the way around. Now, I use seconds as a frame, but it doesn't really take 17 seconds for the ogre to swing that weapon once. It just might take that much time for him to get an actual good swing off. Okay. Just so we have an idea, I'm using seconds because everything works well with seconds, minutes, and hours. I don't want to redo the time frame. I like that better than saying, well, for these segments of combat. No, we're using seconds, minutes, and hours. Hello, LDG. Free the net. If anybody here has computer problems, let me just go and find this fine gentleman. LDG is a computer guru. When I say that, I mean he's really great. If you have a question about applications, if you have questions about things like just how to do certain data processing, if you want to do graphics integration into your videos, if you want to know stuff, ask LDG. He might charge you a little bit for something. He might give you a completely free lesson, but it would be worth your time. He does a very good job. He's very well networked. And for people I know, like Culture Casino, Fat Steven Seagal, 24/7 Fusion, they've all recommended him in the past numerous times. In fact, Culture still talks about LDG. He talked about him, 3 days ago? No, 2 days ago. Quite a bit. I hope you're doing well, LDG. In Waco, I recommend Beverly's Beef and Brew. Flady1 says, I like the epic levels in 3 and 3.5. That's what I do too. I think that's fantastic. I think that kind of led into something more, which they just stopped short of. And Climbing That Mountain says, Rule Cyclopedia in 36 levels. Now you're speaking my language. I'm looking forward to the game. Well, I'm hoping to get it written and published. I think I'm going to do that through Big Geek Emporium. I want 36 levels. 36 is just a good, solid number. It's a derivative of 12. I'm a big numerology guy. 12 is like one of the master numbers. Hebrews love the number 12. And in my opinion, between the Hebrews and ancient Chinese mystics, they have that you have all the secrets of mathematics there if you're willing to study it. I almost never eat McDonald's, but once in a while I crave it. I know then that I lack salt. The thing I use, I make my own pizza crust, right? But I buy these frozen boxes, frozen pretzels, and in each box of pretzels, they give you this huge, nice size packet, like maybe an ounce, maybe a half ounce, but you get pretzel salt with those. And I will save that whenever I do my homemade pizza crust or on a pan. I'll put the pieces of pretzel salt underneath the crust, so when it is in the oven, it's cooking and it's getting warm, you have space between the dough and the pan or the stone, and you can have it elevated so it cooks properly. I think pretzel salt's like the best salt. White Castle is the most excellent at fast food. Ooh, I don't, man. Lady, we're gonna have to introduce you to Whataburger. Sorry, Bo, I misread what you said. Oh, okay. Everybody knows where it is. Everybody knows the menu, and there's better things out there. Yes, that's McDonald's is straight. I do say D&D is the Disney of RPGs. Yeah, they just acquire. Here's Utah. We're at 150% of our snow for the year with 3 more months to go. Oh, $2 super chat. Dude, you didn't have to do that. I would have read your comment no matter what, LDG. Bruce, let us pray I win the lotto tonight. Here is my promise to you, LDG. If I win the lotto, we'll get you a server stack set up. We'll get you some hardware that you need for Prometheus. That'll be my promise to you. I I fully like the idea of what you have for Prometheus. I would I would I would love to see a beta of it, but for a beta, um, I think a server stack would probably be needed, and I'll get you that server stack. We'll go to the NVIDIA website, get you set up, or if you have a better one, we'll go for that. But 6th Street in Austin is the place to go on a weekend. Okay, if you are a single thirsty man, 6th Street in Austin is great. West 6th is going to get you the slutty collegiate age crowd, which they have no morals. If you go to East 6th and 7th, and I would say go to 7th Street on the eastern side of 35, there's a place called Boteco Food Company. It's a little yellow and blue food truck, and it has the absolute best steaks I've ever eaten. In fact, they were the top 100 of Yelp for 2019. They're an amazing, and 2016. Wow. They're an amazing food truck. Boteco Food Company in Austin is really good. Sirloin steak for $18 with a little bit of pico and beans. Really good. Flady one says, yeah, I want to hit that Mega Million. I'll tell you what, Flady. If I win the Mega Million, we're going up to Big Cabin to get Big Geek Con, the Cabin Con. Best wishes, Flady. Exactly. Yeah, at least the racism and wokeness isn't top story in RPG news. Yeah, sadly, the friggin' wizards they sucked all the air out of that. Darth Maul, that's right. What are your inspirations for your game design? The inspirations for my game design is actually 3.0 because I love second edition and first edition AD&D. But my inspirations for game design are I want good mid to high level content. I want it not to be balanced, but I want it to be available and I want it to be potentially amazing for DMs to be able to run a game. And I think the combat system could be very fast. I think that whenever you have a roll, you have your D100, you make your die roll, you add the percentage bonus that you have. And if you hit with that percentage bonus, good. Keep your dice on the table, reverse the numbers for the 2 hit, and that gives you the hit location. Now you add damage. From the damage, you subtract the DR from the armor, if there's any, and then you apply the damage to said individual that you hit. There may be other things that happen. There may be a lot of other things that happen. With the D100 system, I could cop out and do a real lame critical hit version and just do derivatives of 5 like what 3.0 did. So if you have an 18 to 20 spread on a Falcon or like a Saber, you could do an 85 to 100. And I don't want to do that. I want to actually do something more with a Big Geekus. Don't worry, man. You're good people, and I need the content for the channel, so I had to do some downloads and such. You've got this system that whenever you have the die roll, keep all that on the table. I would prefer if you roll your to hit dice along with your damage dice. In my system, I will not be using D10s for damage. I can do everything else around not doing D10s. D10s are for 2 hits, are for your resistance rolls, are for anything not damage at all. If there's healing or damage to be done, it's any of the other polyhedral die. But if you are doing a check, it's D100s. I love D100s. I've always loved D100s. Thank you, Bo. Listening while finishing up. Dude, you've been helping me out quite a bit. Flady says, I like the idea of a magic mystery system, especially if it takes in consideration the spells a person normally uses. If you have a spell pouch that you have to have ingredients for, it will take an extra D4 for the segment or seconds for you to reach in and grab the right things before you do your somatic and verbal components. So that figures into your casting time. Because if you see material component on your spell ingredients or spell components list, you're going to have to spend like an extra D4 seconds to grab it. Unless you start the combat off with that spell. If you do that and you're starting combat off because you're attacking people that don't know what you're doing, then all of a sudden you start the combat and everybody else gets to roll their surprise roll, which means like they have to roll a certain check. And then they also, for them to recognize what's going on, they have to be aware of the situation, which is generally a pretty easy perception roll. But they also then, at that point where they are aware of the situation, then they have to roll a D6 or a D8 to figure out at what point do they start actually doing stuff. Because now there's a delay. Whenever you have surprise on somebody, it's why surprise and ambushes always are almost a one-sided slaughter. In real life, in games, that's how it should be. All right. Remember Starfleet Fleet Battles tabletop? Turn 1 was yes, I love SFB. That is one of my favorite fleet battle games. We don't have anybody here that runs it, sadly. The Table Breakers crew that I hang out with on Thursdays, there's 2 people that are there that run and play that. Yeah, 32 impulses per turn. Ugh. Hey, Tim Christ says, don't inflate LDG's ego that much, man. Listen, he's a very good tech. He's got a lot of good ideas, and I'm willing to hang out and listen to what he has to say about how the net should be free. Seriously, the idea for him to have a social media that goes as far as what like Minds does, or maybe the original intent of Facebook, where you could have streaming video, you can have posts, you can have stupid cat selfies, you could have lol dogs, all of that on one site, and also have a subdivision portion of the social media portion where you could actually design apps. That's great. Just sub to him, thank you. And he reflects my 36 levels, 36 Chambers of Shaolin, one of the best kung fu movies ever. The D12 is probably most underrated. Yeah, it is. I would agree with that. They do cheesesteak pizza out here with a pretzel crust. Dude, a pretzel crust is amazing. You just have to, I don't have the right ingredients for a pretzel crust, but pretzel salt's amazing to help elevate any crust, and it gives it the right amount of tang, so you have a very good taste after it's been baked in, and you'll get dehydrated just enough, but you're not going to saturate yourself unless you're just one of these guys like, oh, beer, and you slam a 6-pack within 30 minutes. Don't do that. Been making tindies. What I missed, by the way, how do you? Hey, 6 Nation 31 Kings, sir. I've been doing pretty well. We're talking about just me being grateful for everything that happened this year so far, and I've got plans. We'll be writing more on the book that I'm doing for RPG, because I don't want to use any other system. I really don't. I want to make a system that I'm happy to use. LDG, you're always, dude, I'm always happy to pimp you out, sir. Seriously, I want people to sub to you. You're a very good guy. Because Chozo, this is another creator, guy that's got a little bit of a different idea for a superhero, but he takes a superhero and he kind of applies a Homie the Clown sort of personality to being a superhero. This Chozo's a pretty interesting guy. Hey, Viz. Travis Jane 1975. Hello, sir. How you doing tonight? Travis. What's a D100? It's 2 die 10, but typically when you buy a set of dice, you're going to have a die 10 with 2 digits on it, like a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. The other one's going to just have a single digit, and that's how you get your D100. Instead of having a D20, I would rather use a D100. I've been like this for over 20 years. I love D100s. That's why I always took to Rollmaster. I thought that was a great game, but nobody else thought so. Rollmaster is a game like the old Doctor Who RPG. If you know your character for Doctor Who the RPG or for Rollmaster, you're basically taking a workload off of the DM because he doesn't have to worry about what you're doing. He knows you're going to take care of your business. But if the DM is not schooled on the characters for either Doctor Who or Rollmaster, he's going to be fighting the system the whole time. Those are two very crunchy systems. I'm not If you study for 1 hour for Rollmaster, you can get 3 hours of play out of it. If you study for 1 hour on Dungeons and Dragons, second or even third edition, you can get about 6 to 8 hours out of that. If you study for 8 hours of the Doctor Who RPG, you can get 1 hour of play out of that. It's very hard. Soy based Jeremy says, I'm a midget and I'm obese. Eclipse Phase, you were mentioning that the other night, and that's a really good game. A lot of people I know have bought it. I've never seen it played, but they like it. Hey, Travis, enjoy your tub time, my friend. Brood Guy explains D100's percentage, where pair D10s, first digit, second one's a tens digit, the other's a ones digit. There you go. Soy base. Yeah, he's a dwarf. 5'6". Dude, we're about the same height, but I'm like double your width. Hey, happy birthday to you here in 6 days, Mama Bear. How you doing, hon? Just having a gratitude stream. Cat selfies are not stupid. Yeah. Only they really are. Errant Dragon, I keep waiting for you to upload a photo of that to the Legion of Myth Discord server because I'm a big fan of mini schnauzers. That's like my favorite. That's my favorite breed of dogs. Well, between mini schnauzer and the standard schnauzer, they're just freaking annoyingly. You'll never know them a private minute in your life ever again, Errant Dragon. The mini schnauzer will always want to be with somebody. Preferably, they'll have one person they will jump up and try to cuddle with atypically, or at least be pressing their body against. But they're great. Listen, I called you obese because you said I'm 3'4" and 342 pounds. I don't know if you're trying to make a stab at me for being 5'6" and 240. Eh. And I'm double your weight. Wow. Thank you again, Mads Mom Bear. And thank you, LDG. Thank you for the $2 super chat. You did not have to do that. Thank you. You got an Aussie Shepherd. Oh my God. If you want to burn those dogs to a point, not burn, if you want to exhaust the dog, Aussie Shepherds are fly ball specialists. I recommend fly ball. Yes, I said girth. They call me tuna can. You're wider than you are long. I'm glad to hear you're skinny. I'm glad to hear you're skinny, soy based Jeremy, and Mom Bear. I'm glad to hear you're okay. Not the definition of peak performance. And Baron G Rex says, remember, Connell is 1'9". Yeah, it is. Hold you. Okay. I don't think the people at WotC knew that this was going to be used to subsidize their competition in the way that it did. But when they took back the number one spot from Paizo, I'm absolutely certain that was when this plan was hatched. But they're really slipping. And the last 2 years have shown them that they can't stay on top. There's always going to be a fight for the top. I would never write an OSR. It's been done. More curious about new stuff. Okay. That's fair. No, I don't. Appreciate the compliment, but that's a no. I'm not Schwarzenegger. New CEO. The new CEO came from Microsoft. She's the poison in the well. She's the one that said it's under monetized. She's just used to being around bigger numbers, and she's used to these tremendous numbers. And when she looks at WotC and the stuff that Wizards of the Coast brought in last year was between 125 and 150 million dollars, and she's like, "What?" And that's kind of where I was at too, because to me, DMD is like a quarter million dollar a year property in my head. It's minimum $250,000, and for some odd reason, it's not been making that in the last 5 or 6 years, and it should be. It really should have been, because if they would have actually concentrated on making good books, they would have made great novels. If they would have done anything but try to appeal to the Tumblr crowd, they would have actually had a system that even the grognards like ourselves who don't play 5e would be like, "Hey, I just bought this book, it's a 5e version of Conan, and they actually did a really good justice. Frank Frazetta would have been proud." Yeah, I know that. WotC wishes it was still 2020. Yes, they made a lot of money in 2020. Actually, Travis, I'm watching Imagination Land on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to that. Okay, I don't know how you agree with that. D&D with the hardcovers, maybe it didn't. But with the OGL and all of the extra content that's out there, I'm really surprised that you don't think there's enough classes. There's a lot of classes in the third party content. In the third party content, Fizchozo, there are so many extra classes and so many extra books for spells and psionic powers and just things that make your character just pop. And whenever a bad guy pops up, if you don't have a good DM, you can do some amazing like statement to your DM, like, "I'm going to use this class ability that I have from this third party class, and you either roll this saving throw or it dies." And that, if people don't take care of things, they really see their stuff fall apart. If you don't curate your game, and I'm not saying that all third party content is bad. I run more third party content than I run official Paizo stuff. And I would rather do it like that, because a lot of third party content has actually been tested. WotC doesn't test their stuff. Yeah, the lady that's running Wizards of the Coast is in for a rude awakening. She has no clue what the TTRPG industry and the hobby is like. She really doesn't. She doesn't understand that you give away the rules for free. She's oblivious to it. Um, Look at Deep Magic by Kobold Press and come back to me after you've looked at that. That should be in the SRD for 5e, because it's in the SRD for 3.0 and Paizo's Pathfinder. I haven't seen that yet. I need that. Weird Guy says, nobody has more classes for their game than Rips. I can't name them all. There's 86 books for Rifts out there right now. 86 books for Rifts right now, not including the Rifter magazine. For 5e, we have quite a few D&D alternatives that are pretty good. There's amazing alternatives. More spells would be nice, but I prefer about a third as many classes and subclasses. See, the way I want to do it, I want to have like 4 or 5 basic classes, maybe 6, including the Ranger, because I think the Ranger should be kind of a base class, because you could grow up in the woods and self-teach, and that would be one way to do it. That the Ranger would be a good class to have for those that don't want to go out and train. The Ranger would be okay for that. But fighters would be officially trained. Thieves, somebody has to mentor you. Somebody has to school you in how to be a thief. And you have these basic 6 classes, and then as you get around 3rd to 5th level, you start developing your subclass archetype, and you can only have like this designation. As you go along, you'll get these pathways opened up to you. But Paladin will not be a base class. Paladin will be a class that you graduate into after you've done some other things, because I don't feel the Paladin really is a class that I want to see people start off at first level with. That seems like something that more you start off first as a priest or as a cleric, and then you go that route into being a paladin. I like that. Rifts definitely wins on most number of skills in an RPG. And the problem with Rifts is the fact that they have the same skill in numerous books done different ways. It's just as bad as whenever AD&D second edition had the lasso in the fighter's handbook being different than the lasso in the equipment and arms and equipment guide. It was different. I hate that. Is it just me, or was 5e a bunch of min-max multi-class characters? I don't know. I never paid attention to it. I never paid attention to 5e because it wasn't the game I looked at. If I don't focus on it, it can handle itself, and I don't need to be there to say how good or how poor it is. 5e does really good at getting people that are mostly new to the hobby sit down and play it. Most of my friends that have been in this hobby for over 20 years don't play 5e as a regular game. The only reason why they'll play 5e is that they live in an area where they cannot find somebody else to sit down for any other game. Well, I've got to run D&D, I guess. Don't do that. Don't settle. This is D&D, but we call it OSE. There's only one class, WotC, added after the player's handbook. That's weird. Because when Paizo, you're probably not going to want to hear this, but Paizo put out like 11 base classes in core rulebook, another 6 in the advanced player's guide, 3 in the ultimate combat, 1 in ultimate magic, 1 in ultimate intrigue, 1 in ultimate wilderness, and those were the quote unquote the official ones, not including the not including the anti-paladin. Kobold Press announced today they're making an open license RPG called Project Black Flag. That'd be interesting. They're strongly lacking on coalition books. I prefer about 10 more CS books. I do like classless systems like World of Darkness and Shadowrun. Okay. Both of those games are die pool RPGs. I'm pretty okay with a splat book every 9 to 12 months. We're in it, right? Start on the next edition. No, I wouldn't want to do that. I'd rather see a game come out that was heavily supported with a campaign setting that was very useful, with adventures that had enough gray area or empty space to have players and DMs have their own stories being told within the confines of that adventure, I like that idea a lot better. You don't want to have that. I don't want to see new additions. Rifts had 2 books for CS and add-ins. Okay. Travis, the first 6 of the Rifters. No. Yeah, it was Rifters 1 through... Was it 1 through 6? I think 1 through 6 were the Coalition War versus Free Quebec. And that was pretty interesting. Because you had a lot of lore in those books for that battle, for that war. And it took like over 2 years for it to happen. To be a paladin, it feels like it should be an accomplishment, something to earn, like being a Jedi Knight in Star Wars. Yeah, and I would want to have a paladin or other prestige classes be available, but I just want to see a game system that doesn't make you epic level at age 18, because there's too many people I know that when they run an RPG, you're the same age at the start as when you finish. And that's not how I want to play. I don't mind, like, there was a Northlands RPG, the Northlands Saga campaign for Paizo, for Pathfinder, first edition. And you started it off when you were like a young man. And Kenneth, the author of it, he wanted you to, as a DM, impart the passing of time. Like, there would be certain winters you wouldn't have adventures take place. So you'd be home all winter, and you might take that time to craft or to make a new sword or to do something. And he said there's no magic shops here. So if you want to go get a magic item, you might find yourself chopping wood and living at this person's yurt for the whole 3 months of miserable winter. And then you can start kind of seeing where the ice is thawing out. You might be able to get your boat in action after you've bartered for one more month of chopping firewood. By the way, you would be huge after that. I'm just saying. But I don't like games where the levels are just, oh, here's a level and there's a level, you get a level and you get a level. I don't like that. Rifts can have a living cactus man perform bubble magic. That's a thing. There's everything in Rifts. War campaign, and then don't forget Coalition Lone Star. I never read the Navy book. Oh, you did mention Lone Star. Okay, good. Rifts is a 7-book series on the Rifter. There's a 7 series on the Coalition War and Coalition Manhunter book. Just came out. Good. Tolkien Drive books are good, and if you can find the original 3 Rift novels, those were fun, and that really gives you a boots on the ground mentality for that. I've thought of many D&D campaigns. I'm going to try to do 5e, but another one's going to be 3.5. A lot of people I know are going back to 3.5. They find it easier to run in 3 than 5th edition. Rift's Mercenaries has a surprising amount of coalition gear in it. Ironheart State mainly. They're big into tanks and helos, even another jet fighter. Ooh. Forgot about that. The Paizo's problem was not classes, it was the archetypes. They were smart to get rid of prestige classes, but then replace them with an overwhelming clusterfuck of archetypes. Yeah, I don't like the archetypes as they are. Certain classes, you can swap out class abilities for other class abilities, and you can mix and match and piece your character together. And that sounds kind of neat. I think I might actually compile a bunch of things like that, and instead like have class talents that you get a class talent every even level. And there'll be 20 level classes, but you'll have your archetype at like between 3rd and 5th level and start assigning that, and then you'll get class abilities to make yourself kind of piece yourself together. The one thing I want to have to help make the game slow down, one, I want to have long leveling, so you have a long span of time between levels, so you know your character, you're living your character. You might spend between 40 and 60 hours as a single level, and I like that idea. But and that means if you are like me and you run every other weekend, you might get 8 hours of gameplay in for a level, and about every 4 to 5 adventures, leveling up should happen. I think that 4 to 5 sessions, I think that's a lot. I think that's a good chunk of time, and I want people to really just get in the nuts and bolts of their character and assume and get into the role play of their character, because I hate seeing people that are like, this game doesn't take off until 8th level. Get out of here. Get out. You should look at the Rifter. The Rifter, I don't know if they have those in PDF, but that is a fantastic little magazine. Haven't played Rifts in many years. I never saw a Rifter book until a few months ago. I quit playing the Rifts game in 2001 and 2002. And I had up to Rifter number 9, which is the joke Rifter, the best Rifter out of all of them. Grab a few random ones on eBay for a few bucks. Look over them soon. Sonic Boom was awesome. That's crazy right there. 4th edition is getting a major resurgence now. It's a good scrimmage. The best part of 4E is the board games. It really is. The campaign I'm trying to run now is about investigating a cult in the Elven city of Areska. Ooh. Sounds like fun. Shadow of the Demon Lord has more professions as you go up in level. One of the classic 4, then at level 4 you pick one of the 16. At level 7, a master class from over 60. Yeah, I like that style of progression. I think that right there is almost perfect. I was here for this time. No, I don't think they should be fast. I think you should have a time and rate to where you get to know your character and you get to know the game. I really want that. I want to be able to have players that they will know their player character inside and out. 3 classes in your race add up to your make your character. Ooh, that'd be interesting. Get a core book, get a world book, and go. That can work. Got a shower, taking you guys with me, so no peeking. Fair enough. It's been an hour, and I didn't want to take too long of a time on tonight. I really wanted to say thank you for everybody that showed up. I wasn't expecting 18 people to be here at the end after an hour, and I've got to say that we're tomorrow night. I'm going to be on my friend Jade's Tabletop Tavern stream. We do a thing called Gatekeepers over there, where we analyze a little bit about the games. On Thursday night, we're back here on my channel and on Baron G Rock's channel. We'll be talking about the OGL 1.1 debacle that's going on, and it looks like it's going to be very interesting as this unfurls. Wizards hasn't really said a whole lot yet. I think they're testing the waters, but with a leak and seeing how we all react. It's kind of cute that people on Facebook are cucking out and saying, "Yeah, the guys, give them a chance. They've made a good game in the past before. Follow Wizards of the Coast. Follow the money." Don't do that. Rift's core book is enough by itself. I prefer the old first edition. I actually liked Atlantis. The Atlantis book was pretty good. Hey, T-shirt, if you've got a question for me that you want to keep private, go ahead and drop it in my Discord, and I'll answer it after the stream here. I'm going to wrap up in a couple of minutes. Debacle is an understatement. Everybody and their sister is scared about this, and I don't want people to be. I want people to be fearless, because one, they're giving you a little bit of time to change your business operation to where you can get all your books fixed, to where either you're going to follow the 1.1 or you're going to dip out. You're like, "See ya, peace. It was great." And I hope everybody dips out. I hope people just give them no attention. I want to see. I would love it if Wizards of the Coast would have a story or have something come out on the PR circuit and nobody cared. Nobody heard what they said, because everybody was kind of like me whenever somebody says, "Oh, did you see the new Star Wars movie, the new Star Wars series? Did you see the new Star Wars this or that?" And I'm like, "No." "Oh, blah, blah, blah." Shh. Don't tell me about Star Wars. It doesn't exist anymore. And that's how I want people to feel about D&D. I want people to think D&D is dead, because it is. We had D&D for our 30s and 40s or 20s or however old you were. And the game that you loved back then is not the same. It's a miserable, drunken, greedy, grabbing uncle, and it thinks everybody's got a pussy. So just get away from D&D, because it thinks everything belongs to it, and it's going to try to pull you onto the table. Don't. Public question here. Bruce, you're a septic guy. Okay. You can use flushable wipes, but have a trash can next to the toilet and wipe your ass and then throw it in there. Do not put them in a septic tank. I've got photos of a tank from earlier today, and this guy's had a tank for 4 years. He's been having 5 kids at his house, and they were using wipes primarily the first 2 years. I could not get through the cluster of wipes with my hose. I was having to use a shovel to break things apart. I was using a crowbar to get things maneuvered around and jabbing it down and getting wiggle room. And then I was using a garden hose to spray things and moisten it up so it would get some breathing room in it to where it would actually fit in a hose. And I still left about 300 gallons of solid poop in there, because I'd hit my limit. I'd put in 1,250 gallons of sluice and water and shit and paper products into my truck. I wasn't going to take a dime more. I wasn't going to take a gallon more. I needed it to be, I needed 1,250 gallons for the price he paid, because I gave him free labor and I gave him some knowledge, and I gave him a couple enzyme packets because he needs that. I would not use wipes in a toilet. Do not flush them in the toilet. Do not flush them in a toilet. It might say septic safe. Don't believe it. Put it in garbage. Everybody's abandoning 5E faster than Titanic, and we should. It's not really a good system. It was good for getting butts in seats. Call it something else and play it. Travis says no for flushable wipes. Lord giveth and Lord take the Watsieth taketh away. It encourages more people to try new game systems. Yes, if you've not played Star Wars D6, get a hold of Star Wars D6. And 20 people in chat. Wow, guys, thank you. There's a game from West End Games from back in 1986, 87. Star Wars was made by West End Games. Fantasy Flight Games released a classic version of it last year, 2 years ago, with the first source book and the core rule book together with the classic episode 4 poster on it. If you can find a copy of that, have it in your hard copy shelf. If not, get a PDF of it, because it is a great RPG. You will feel like you're playing in the old movies, the original trilogy. They even tell you, play between Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. You've got a lot of wiggle room. Have fun. The revolution will not be televised. No, it won't. It will not be televised. No, I don't care, Garrett. I'm sorry. New D&D TV. What's that? What's that? Wrenchmate is ready to throw Sabbath. Flushable wipes aren't flushable funneling. No, they're not. They absorb too much water and they've got a real thick weave to them. Don't do that. Travis J 1975 says, I hope it'll be televised. It'd be the best TV in decades. It would. It really would. What Bruce describes, I've done that. Yeah. Sorry. Get off the Watsy drugs. Get into any other game. There's tons of designers and creators we all know. Do you like their presence? Do you like them being able to get an extra loaf of bread or an extra ham at the store? Do you like their kids? Do you like the idea of their kids not being complete idiots and mom and dad having peace of mind and not stressed out enough where they teach their kids the right things in the right way? If you know a designer of a game and you like what they do, you like what they have to say, spend your money on them. Or if you are flush with money, my friend Supreme Heretic has a Give Send Go account that he needs help. Either of those would be a much better use of your money than giving it to Hasbro. Hasbro is not good for you. I have better drugs. Yes, so do I. Open D6 is an open GL you can use. It's a West End game Star Wars D6 system, but generic. You can use it for fantasy, for intrigue and spying. It's great. Errant Dragon says a Pathfinder crack didn't work on me. Well, I did like Pathfinder. I didn't like everything Pathfinder, but I liked it enough to keep running it. Yes. It's worth selling 7 seats for that. It really is. Heard Keeneland first edition's making a comeback. Probably is. All right. Fuck. I went to the store, a loaf of ham I'd eaten one sitting. Okay. At Sam's, they're selling like a 3.5 pound ham for $3.19 a pound right now. That's where I live in San Antonio. And you have a 3.5 pound ham for about maybe $12. $12, $11, somewhere around there. It's really worth it. One of the best hams we've ever had. Anyway, we're almost 10 minutes in. A minute 10, that's 110. That's January 10th. Guys, have a great night. It was a blessing being here with you. I want you all to figure out how to beat the challenges that are making you gnash your teeth at night and making you stress out. If that's the one thing I wish I could do for you is help you out, it'd be that praying that the friends I have don't have nearly the amount of struggles they had in 2022. We've got everybody here has a mountain that they're own climbing. I mean, everybody's got challenges. The best thing you can do if you've got something that's driving you nuts, I need you to talk to your friends. I need you to talk to a friend of yours that gives a shit about you and would probably call you asshole first, laugh, clap in the back, and be like, listen, let's try to beat this together, okay? And if you've got a friend that's ever been depressed before and then you got their way out of it and you're not feeling well, ask him, hey, what did you do? What did you do to get out of being depressed? What battle did you have to fight for yourself? So you got to, if you're able to get those questions out, great. If you need help, ask for it. That's always the one thing we always say to each other. There's no stupid questions, because we might laugh. That's a weird question. But whenever you get to the meat of it, there's actually a serious inquiry there. So do that. Do that for your friends. Stock up on silver and lead, everybody. You're going to need it. Yes. Nice show, guys and gals. See you on the flip side. We will see you Thursday night. Nice talk. Thank you very much. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. It was an impromptu stream. I really appreciate Biggest Geekus for leading in to having a great stream tonight. I'm going to go watch the rest of their show. I did not get a chance to because I was starting this. But I want you all to have a great night. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Good night.